Time for us to start talking about farming the ultimate bunny form. Took me a long time to get this done, but I do have some tips and information that I think can be helpful. We'll go from easiest to get to hardest. Most of the time on this video is going to be spent discussing getting the code, because I think having a few tips, something that's going to help you guys out, is what's going to be most useful. Starting out then, we have the Catalst. This is majorly easy to get. Obviously, this is going to be over at the Orus defense line. We'll go ahead and we'll quickly run one of these just so you guys can see how you should be doing most of these, because a lot of people are going to prefer you to take a stealth approach. It should go without saying at this point that bringing along a Sharon is going to be a huge advantage, and I do highly recommend having a First Descendant, so Lepic or Blair will be extremely useful to you, as well as Freyna when it comes to farming up the code. When it comes to farming outposts then, we should be always aiming to get the most rewards. So we can see here we have this top set of rewards which you'll always get, but then we have the additional rewards for a successful infiltration, which is if you do this in stealth mode. That's just basically going to get you better amorphous drops, as well as more chances at the stabilizer, which is going to help you with some of the rarer drops from the amorphous. In particular, this is going to be extremely important for the code, so now is a good time to be practicing it. Either way, go invisible with your Sharon if you have it, get as much duration on there as you can, and then add in some survivability after that if you have space. Of course, if somebody messes it up, there's not a lot you can do about it. But you want to go around and interact with all of the terminals in the base. I'm not going to hang around for these guys. They just lost my help for this run. See you all in a bit. But either way, make your way around, try and get the stealth reward out of it, and then you can have a roll at getting the amorphous. We can see from the amorphous, this is a 20% drop chance. So 5 of these, or 1 in 5. This one's fairly easy to work out in terms of probability. So I would recommend grabbing 10, and you shouldn't have any issues opening these up. With all of these defense lines and stuff, you'll usually find that you can farm the correct material that you need in the same zone. So in this instance, you would actually need Viesa as well, and then you can open it right at the reactor just to the south there. I do have some good recommendations for the code though, which should make things a little bit quicker. Moving on to the stabilizer and the ultimate bunny enhanced cells, we'll want to move over to Vespers to do the same thing there, and over to White Knight Gulch to do something very similar there. This is why you can see we're going to need Freyna. In fact, Freyna is going to come up at least twice, which is why she's so important for this. The hardest part to get by far is the code. This took me forever to get. I actually ended up doing something like 40 odd amorphous for this, but I do have something that I want to show you guys as we go ahead and do this. So looking at the rewards then, this is obviously going to be for the Shape Stabilizer 4, and this has a 6% drop chance, which works out about 1 in 17. So my recommendation is to farm up at least 34 of them. As you can see, I went kind of crazy, went overkill. And what you're going to find is, as you do that, you're going to build up the Shape Stabilizer Form 4. Now, what it worked out was, and I didn't realize this because the game tells you that there's a limit on these of 6. That cap is how many of the same one that you can hold. So I can hold 6 4s, I can hold 6 8s, and then all of the different variants. I think there's 8 in total. So just make sure you cap that out, make sure you've got all 6, and then once you've done that, then it's actually a good time to go ahead and run for the code. Don't worry though, if you're like me, you like to do everything in bulk, which is what I did. If you go over the 6, the cool thing is that you're actually going to end up with them in your lost and found. So you can farm all of those out in one go, and then you can have extra stabilizers waiting for you in the mail, which I think is just a nice little tip. It's something that I was pleasantly surprised by, because obviously those stopped dropping for me after a while, and that was kind of how I worked out we could only hold 6, and that's what the cap meant. And then it was a nice surprise to know that I had those in the mail as well. Additionally, when it comes to farming up the materials for this particular reactor, this void fragment is deathly slow. It must be the slowest void fragment I've run, so I figured I'd give you guys an alternative, and the best thing is, it's literally right here. If you come to the abandoned zone and run this one is going to be much quicker, cuts the farming time for the shards in half. So I highly recommend bringing your Freyna over to this abandoned zone to the south so that you guys can farm the shards much quicker. Again, I like to do this in bulk. It's up to you guys if you want to do this more piecemeal. Entirely up to you guys. As we said before, so 1 in 17. So at least take 17 attempts worth of shards over when you come on over to the reactor to face the boss. I'm afraid I don't have an easy way to beat the boss. Bring someone like Lepic if you can, or Glay, so you have plenty of ammunition, as the guy has absolute crap ton of health, and hopefully you can take it down nice and easily, and you'll have your bunny code in no time.